So welcome back to me, welcome back to Thailand. Truly Thai here from Thailand. Hope you're doing well. It is one put here in Thailand, I believe. So for instance, it's another lovely sunny day in Thailand. It's Christmas Eve. And for instance, but again, you wouldn't even know, for instance, it was Christmas in Thailand unless you come to my house. But other than that, so for instance, they have Christmas decorations up and around places, but it is a bit of a anti-climax, because when you think about it, you think, if you've stopped off a plane, you saw all these Christmas decorations hanging up, and you're thinking, whoa, it's Christmas, the Thais are really getting into it. And then tomorrow, for instance, it's just like another day, another normal day, for instance, and it's kind of like, you think, there's going to be, unless you go to the expats areas and to the tourist areas, etc., into the hotels, you wouldn't, that's the only way you'd feel it was Christmas. But other than that, it's just a normal thing, another day. And regardless of what people put decorations up, I don't understand why, because quite honestly, they don't celebrate it, so there you go. Anyway, but it's just, it's crazy. Anyway, so we're not here to talk about that. So we'll talk about Manchester City, and for instance, we have some good news, and for instance, and some I wouldn't say frustrating news, etc. But it's just highlights the typical of what we see of mainstream media. But let's just focus on one thing at the moment, at the beginning, etc., which really bothered me, and that was about one of our former captains, Richard Dunne. I do believe, for instance, I only heard about this today, but I believe, for instance, his Helen Dunne, his wife, has provided an update on the health of her husband, Man City legend Richard Dunne, following his heart attack last night. Fans of the football community are in shock, sending message and support and prayers to the former defender in recovery. So Richard Dunne, so I hope you recover from. It was a shock to me. I've just seen it now, and I hope you recover very, very soon. So anyway, have a good Christmas, sir. Apart from that, what's it called? The good news we got from Fabrizio. I listened to Fabrizio, and he went through the entire thing, and I listened to the mainstream media, and they took a different angle. And for instance, so from what Fabrizio Morano was saying about Andrew Semenyo, it appears that Man City are basically, for instance, the players wants to come to Man City. Players' personal terms agree with the player, and all we are waiting for is the the ties to be tight with the Bournemouth FC regarding the transfer of Semenyo to Manchester City. So it's good news for us, for instance, I was listening to Fabrizio, and he was saying about how the fact that, for instance, how Chelsea were in for him, etc., but he wasn't interested in going to Chelsea. Spurs were interested in, but he wasn't saying they weren't going to interested. Liverpool were interested, but they didn't make anything concrete. The only other team, etc., who was interesting was United, and so for instance, and he kind of like, no, I'm not going there. So for instance, and it was Manchester City. So I welcome Semenyo. It's not done yet, and again, for instance, we heard a lot of these things about Wirtz, etc., and other players. But until it's done, it's done. But it looks like he could be on his way to Manchester City, which would be a great addition to Manchester City. Now, again, I listen to the mainstream media is just bordering on pathetic. I was listening to ESPN this morning. I was listening to Sky Sports. I was listening to TalkSport, etc. And they're all talking about when on, say, for instance, Sky Sports, when they were doing the back pages, they were talking about ARSEnal, and ARSEnal, I'll come on to ARSEnal in a minute, what's it called, but an ARSEnal strength in depth, and how they've got players who can come on and can change games, okay, and their strength in depth, and they've got a big squad, and and they've got this great squad now of players who can come on and rotate, and blah blah blah. When he talked and then they talked about Manchester City, and it's the same old crap. Who's going to be replaced? He's going to be a bench warmer. That's all he's going to do is sit on the bench. He's not. Is he going to replace Doku? Is he going to replace Savinho? Is he going to replace whatever? It is perfectly fine for Liverpool, Arsenal, Real Madrid, Barcelona, to have strength in depth on players. Okay, with players. When it comes to Manchester City, no. He's going to be a bench warmer. He's going to play the bench. right? And I just can't believe the what's it called? You know what I'm listening to? What's it called by the media? Even my mate, what's it called? He said, "Oh, if he comes to Liverpool, he goes straight into the squad. But if he goes to you, he'll sit on the bench." Well, I'm sorry, but the thing is, if I was saying, for instance, if he comes straight into the Liverpool squad or coming straight into the squad, it means you don't have cover. You don't have that player anyway. So, for instance, why? Well, you know, and again, for instance, you don't have, you know. I listened to Andre Yegelix on Manchester City. I listened to Pep Guardiola as well, and they were saying about that. And he says competition for good on players is good. Competition, and if he comes in, and I listened to Simon Jordan, and he said the same thing. If you're good enough, you'll prove it, and you want to prove it. And of course, you'll want competition. The players thrive on competition to be the best. Okay, they don't want to sit on the bench, so it's up to them to up their game. But when you're playing again on a top league club, which Manchester City are, you're going to accept competition. James Trafford's going to accept competition. If he doesn't, he can't handle. If he can't handle a competition, then you need to move on. But the mere fact that you go into a top winning side where you could be wearing a medal or trophy, lifting trophies and all competitions, that could be not not play every game if you have a stink of you're not playing well. So, for instance, there's nonsense about how the fact that if he comes to Man City, he'll be a bench warmer. It's just pathetic. I just find the whole thing just boring on pathetic. I really do. I just find the whole thing just stupid. It really is. And the mere fact that when they were talking about Arsenal, for instance, and how wonderful Arteta made 8 changes against Palace last night, and it just shows you Arsenal's strength in depth. When they talk about Arsenal's strength in depth and the bench warmers at Arsenal, oh no, that's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. You know, the fact is, you know, Arsenal have got this big squad, etc., this amazing squad, but it was all right. You know, Arsenal could make these changes, bring in these base players, but half these players are not going to play on the 28th against in the next game. So what about them? But that never gets caught into calls into challenge against. But it's only Man City. If Man City sign a player, who's he going to replace? Doku is going to be Semenyo. Is it going to be whatever? Even though the guy, which I didn't realise, I really didn't. Honestly, I find out more about the guy now because I was a bit. But where's he go? But he's not. He can play left. He can play right. He's a 2-footed, which is brilliant. He's also can play in midfield. Again, a player Pep Guardiola wants versatile players who can play in different positions, and by the sounds of it, this guy can play in different positions. So my God! And then if you look at Man City's bench against West Ham, a lot of EDS players. Why? Because we've got players in AFCON or we've got players injured. And right now we've got a really good opportunity of winning the Premier League. And if we want to win the Premier League, and then we've got, for instance, and we fall short because we didn't have enough strength in depth, then it's ludicrous. There's all points that Man City need to go for this guy. This guy will only make things better for Manchester City, and it'll add competition. Will add more. For instance, give us more goals, options, Pep Guardiola more options, because we're fighting on 4 fronts. And to sit there and say that players don't get an opportunity, I think it's crap. You've got the League Cup, the FA Cup, the Premier League and the Champions League. You know, for instance, we're playing loads of games. I think we've got 11 games over 9 games, 11 games in January, for instance. Of course they're going to get games. Of course they're going to get opportunity. Maybe goalkeepers won't get as many opportunities as regular players, but they'll get opportunities. And it's up to them to stand up to make a case for themselves. To sit there and to say, Man City, we don't need him. They don't need him. Liverpool do need him. So why the hell didn't you spend £100 billion, etc., for instance, in the transfer window, and then you're going for somebody else? Yeah, no, but Salah might be leaving at the end of the year, and we've got Stones leaving. We've probably got Bernardo Silva leaving. We've probably got a few others leaving, etc. So again, it's just this mainstream media, and I'll go back to the fact that they were talking about the Arsenal game. And just go back to one more about Stephen Nichols. Stephen Nichols was talking about the City, and he said, well, why would Semenyo, who was a forward-thinking, forward player, and now he doesn't want to play. He wanted to play Manchester City, for instance, because Man City only kick the ball backwards. We don't kick, like that. We only play kick ball, keep ball. And he said, he's only going to kill the player. What a bitter nonsense crap. If you're watching Man City today, always bum forward, getting goals, scoring 3 goals a game at the moment. We're just doing, Scott, the highest goal scorer, and so we can't be doing this forward back, etc. If we're the highest goal scorers in the Premier League. Okay, so Stevie Nicol, pathetic. Honestly, this crap Manchester City is getting at the moment, from this mainstream biased media, it's just ridiculous. And then we're talking about Arsenal again yesterday. Wolves, okay, they dropped a stinker, for instance. Oh yeah, they didn't play well, but they got over the line. Oh yeah, blah blah blah. Okay, fine. All right, the next game, Everton got over the line. What's it called there? Got a penalty, 1-0. What's it called? A penalty. And then yesterday, again, another own goal. What's it called? To win one. And then they conceded again in the 90th minute. Again, they conceded for that again. So they're not scoring. They're not scoring goals. They're not, they're getting over the line, as it were. What's it called? But my Christ, they're crawling over the line. They're like, going over the line. Oh well, it's their mentality, it's their whatever. If that was Manchester City, it would be talk about, Erling Haaland's not firing blanks, blah blah, Turkey's not scoring, Phil Foden's not scoring, there'd be a big blue haha. But if Arsenal, if they make these changes and they talk about Jesus is not a striker. So I just don't understand again this crap they keep talking about. What's it called when they talk about Manchester City? Arsenal, and for instance, they got this guy to come back. They got this and this and this. Unbelievable. And now the fact that they were, I thought it was only Jason Cundy and whatever thingy, O'Hara were talking about. Are you getting concerned you're not scoring? And then the Arsenal fans, we don't have a Haaland. Why don't you have a Haaland? How come? It's amazing. You got Djokovic, etc., which you thought he was the next Haaland, etc. But and again, so you're not scoring goals. Oh yeah, we've got Jesus coming back. When we got have that coming back, you've got him coming back, etc. It will be it'll all be a lot better. But my Christ, at the moment, Arsenal the last 3 games have been pathetic. Yes, they've been playing well. Overall, the balance of the game, we should have won. They should have won. Yeah, I was expecting a 3-0 win at least. But the mere fact that Arsenal made changes, but with their strength in depth, the players they can bring on, etc. For instance, the changes is a lot better than Palace's. They're playing at home. They're playing a team who played 3 games in 5 days or whatever. Played a lot of games, and then suddenly, for instance, they are struggling to beat these teams. And they just basically needed penalties to win 7-8 on penalties, and it's supposed to be this. If it's going well, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. I really am not. I just find the whole thing just stupid. I really do. Honestly, I just find it's the biasness towards the mainstream media. It's just towards Arsenal. It's just putting pathetic. It really is. They're not scoring. But they'll make an excuse. They made changes, etc. And they're supposed to have this great strength in depth, this great team, and you need penalties. To get through against a much weakened team, a much weaker team who's played a lot of games. You're not playing in great form. But I just find the whole thing just boring and really, really boring and pathetic. Against this love for Arsenal and the media and the fact that they're talking about crying the fact that Semenyo's going to Manchester City, is asked in the Sunday supplement, etc. Semenyo, is he going to is he going to be that guy, for instance, who takes Man City to the title? No, I don't think so. I think he'd be a good squad player. Claudio what's it called? Here we go from Fabrizio saying that he's off to Girona, and all these people who talk about he's going off to back to River Plate. No, he's a Manchester City player. Man City plays contracts under Man City, and regardless, even though River Plate would welcome him back, of course, for their own particular reasons, not because of any other reason other than the fact that they want him back. And they, of course, but he's going to Girona, which was Man City's preference in the first place, and he should have gone there rather than going to Leverkusen. So, but I'm happy that, for instance, he'll go there now. So that's good. But yeah, I'm just getting really, really naffed off, etc. When you listen to a bit of context from these this mainstream media, and it just getting just garbage all the time, and it really just gets up your nose. It really does. And so for instance, yeah, just I just don't know what to say really, you know, and it's just crazy, you know. I'm happy for Semenyo to come in. I think he will be an addition to us. I think, for instance, again, the release course is good. It'll only add strength in depth to Manchester City. Yeah, so what's it called? So absolutely great news for us. It was United were pushing for him, but you know, he's chosen to go to Man City. So yeah, what's it called? And it's a smart move for him. It really is. And I'm sorry, what's it called? You know, if I was Semenyo, I would go. You know, you could be wearing the Premier League medal around your neck. What would you get at United? You know, what's it called? You might get top 4. You know, and it's just a no-brainer for me. Why would you not go to Manchester City? Liverpool, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, where are you? You know, yeah, you could walk into the team. Could you? I don't know. You know. Right, so the League Cup second leg has been confirmed. It will take place at the Etihad Stadium on the 4th of February and get underway at 8 o'clock in the evening, 3 o'clock in the morning for me. Thank you very much. The women's, it was a very, very good on the Manchester City website about the women's season so far. Very, very interesting read. I think I would suggest you go and read it. I think it's been a great addition. The new additions, the new players we've had bringing in, the likes of Emma Beanie, etc. For instance, have just been, and Grace. Extra have been an absolutely fantastic, and we've got strength in depth, and we've got quality, and you don't see any bitching and whining going on there, do you? So and I think it's only adding to the squad's depth and adding squad's quality. So we're bringing in great players, etc., good players who, and for instance, we are top of the league, 6 point clears of Chelsea for a reason. Because they're a very good team. Now they predict us to win the Premier League, so the WSL, for the beginning of the season. Not because I'm a biased blue, it's because I can clearly see it. For instance, that we were a good team last season, but we were plagued by injuries, and hence we actually got into the FA Cup, the League Cup, and we were in a hunt run for the top 4, if not the WSL last season. We got hampered by probably had problem being Bruges, problem with the manager, and then for instance, this year we got strength in depth, and then we got a new manager, for instance, and thank God the injuries have been only small. So it was a good, which is showing, and the players are really responding. So congratulations to the ladies on your first part of the season, and long may it continue. Right, I think Ryan Ignore should be playing today. I think it was Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. It is Wednesday, and so Ryan Ignore should be playing today. So I look forward to seeing him. We'll see what's going to happen with him. Hope he's playing well. And but Omar, he's probably having South Africa the next game for him. But other than that, for instance, nothing really much to say. I could go on, but I'm not. I'm going to leave it for this Christmas Eve, and I'll speak to you tomorrow, Christmas Day. Whether you can tune in, tune out, whatever, you can see me. But I'll be doing this every single day. Again, there's always something to talk about at Man City, and hopefully we can get the Semenyo, and that'll be our first Christmas present of the year. So, for instance, that'll be great. Anyway, guys, we love you, leave you. True Blue Tie from Thailand. Like and subscribe. Tell me what you're thinking. Speak to you tomorrow. Merry Christmas.